Woo! Put the kids to bed. The family dog is dead. This is the Fight Guy. I'm your host, Guy Pert. A lot going on. Dustin Poirier announces his retirement fight July 19th against who other than Max Holloway in New Orleans, Louisiana, my hometown. What's up? It's a great fight. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. I'm going to give you my thoughts on UFC Kansas City tomorrow night. Ian Gary versus Carlos Prates. Give you my thoughts on all the fights on the main card. And then we're going to wrap it up and call it a video. I want to start with my favorite fighter, man. Dustin Poirier announced his retirement fight in his home state, in my hometown, New Orleans, Louisiana. Beautiful place, beautiful people. The food will kill you, but it's that good. Max Holloway. I mean, look, I'm not mad at either of these guys. I'm not even mad at this fight. I'm disappointed. And I'll tell you why. I'm disappointed in the lightweight division, and you know who you are. Charles Oliveira. You know, I like Gaethje, but I gotta say Gaethje. And I have to say Arman Tsarukyan. What are you doing? But the biggest culprit, I wanted Ilia Topuria to take this fight. I'll just say it. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. Ilia Topuria should have taken the Dustin Poirier retirement fight as his introduction into the division. I mean, I get it. He's had one fight before where he almost got dusted. Yeah, he knocked Jai Herbert out. He almost got dusted. Yeah, he knocked Jai Herbert out in a sec. He came back. He looked really good. He almost got dusted. Ilia Topuria, it would have been a perfect opportunity, right? You know, Dustin Poirier losing to Ilia. You know, you could die on that hill. Dustin Poirier going out, you know, destroying the UFC plans of a super fight would be funny to watch as a Poirier fan. I would have liked to see that. But a BMF belt against Max Holloway, I'll take it. I just think, you know, shame on some of the other fighters in the lightweight division. You know who you are. This could have been a great opportunity. You know, this is what the UFC likes. And this is why the UFC and Dana has beef with guys like Arman Tsarukyan that don't want to fight. I don't know. I'm not gonna go there. I was disappointed at first. It's gonna grow on me in time. Obviously rooting for Dustin Poirier in this fight. If Max Holloway loses, what are we gonna do? Max Holloway loses. Then he's coming off of 2 straight potential knockout losses. Dustin Poirier can knock Max Holloway out in his hometown on his retirement fight, guys. Sorry, it's a possibility. Max Holloway getting knocked out twice in a row, 2 separate divisions. And then we got to deal with that. Then we got to deal with losing Dustin Poirier. And now he's still there, but, he's hooked up to a cord in a hospital bed, Max Holloway. And I don't know. And then Max Holloway could win. That would be really good for Max. And then I got to deal with Dustin Poirier losing in his home state on his retirement fight. And it's a lot to deal with emotionally. So my initial reaction was I was very disappointed. I was disappointed. Not very disappointed. You know, my kid didn't fail the class, but a C- isn't pretty either. Not that this is a C- fight either. It's just I had higher expectations. I guess this was the best possibility we can get, right? I guess the only bigger fight for Dustin would be a title fight. You know, he said he wanted to fight a legend. He's fighting the guy, that he first fought. It was Max Holloway's first fight in the UFC. You know, people will say, oh, it's adorable, it's poetic. Max Holloway's first fight was Dustin Poirier, and now Dustin Poirier's last fight is Max Holloway. This isn't the Hallmark Channel. This is mixed martial arts. What the fuck? UFC Kansas City. Let's get into it. I'm just going to do the main card. I'll fly through the prelims. I won't even... I got something in my eye. Ugh. Dr. Fauci stuff. I'll fly through the prelims. I haven't gotten the opportunity this week to research a lot of these guys like I normally do and watch some of their fights, like I do for the fans. But, there's some recognizable names on here. I know most of these people. So I'll just give you my quick picks on the prelims, just for the record, so you have them. Chelsea Chandler versus Jocelyn Edwards. I believe Chelsea Chandler. Let's do this in real time. Well, let's do this in real time. I believe Chelsea Chandler is the chick that was running, and there was a meme about her in the UFC. I believe she's the first runner. Was she the runner? I'm going to look like an absolute clown. Yeah. Boom, baby. Yeah. Yeah, she's the one that has a meme running away in an octagon, which I've never seen before. So that's another reason why women's MMA shouldn't go anywhere, especially in the UFC. It should stay put, and I'm a firm believer that they should add a UFC women's heavyweight division at some point. I hope I am alive when that day comes. Let me tell you something. But yeah, I'm not going to go with Chelsea Chandler on this. I'm surprised to see her still in the UFC. Tomorrow might be her last night in the UFC. Maybe they'll take care of business Sunday morning. But that's if Joseline Edwards takes care of business. I've seen her fight a few times. I believe she was even on the Contender Series. Was she on the Contender? No, she wasn't. She's been in the UFC. I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm going to go with Joseline Edwards. This is already getting too muddy. I'm getting stuck in quicksand. We'll move on. Timmy Kuamba versus Roberto Romero. Pretty even fight. I like this matchup. I'm going to go with Roberto Romero, just off the top of my dome. Jacqueline Amorim versus Polyana Viana. The minus 1,000 favorite. I'm going to go with the minus 1,000 favorite. Jacqueline Amorim, she looked good at weigh-ins. She looked really good at the weigh-ins. And she's got some sweet tattoos. I believe she's got a bunch of Naruto tattoos. And I saw some guys on Twitter digging into her because she's got terrible tattoos, and they just can't appreciate good anime like Naruto. So, yeah, Jacqueline Amorim's probably going to wax Polyana Viana. But you never know. You never know. We've had a lot of frauds get checked this year. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cameron Simon. This is a good fight. Now, this is a good fight that I'm looking forward to on the prelims. The next fight, also a good fight. Malcolm Wellmaker. Everybody's going with Malcolm Wellmaker on this one. They're saying Cameron Simon, he's lost 2 straight. And, before that, he was undefeated. He's starting to kind of fall apart a little bit. It's been a little while since he's last fought. Hasn't it been like January? No, March of last year. I thought it was January last year, where Peyton Talbot knocked him out. And we all know that Peyton Talbot is a fraud. So, therefore, MMA math does line up for frauds. You can MMA math for frauds, but for people that have not been fraud checked, you can't do the MMA math and carry the one, and he beat this guy, so if that guy beat that guy, then this guy should be him. That doesn't work with people that haven't been fraud checked. Peyton Talbot has been fraud checked, and this guy got knocked out by a fraud. I'm going to agree with the consensus here. We're going to go Malcolm Wellmaker, probably to finish Cameron Simon. I'm even going to say that. Oops. Damon Blackshear versus Alan Tagali out of China. He's a little bit newer in the UFC. He's had some losses in the regional scene, I believe, in China. In China? Yeah. Kunlun Fight 13, Kunlun Fight Cage Series 2. Yeah, he was getting his ass whooped about a decade ago. He put together a nice run. I'm not too familiar with Alan Gelly, I'm not going to lie. He's not ringing a lot of bells. Mongolian. We're gonna go with Damon Blackshear. He's been active. He's a hell of a serpent on the ground. I believe he's got like 13 submissions, 11 submissions. He's never been submitted, and he's only been knocked out once. I really like Damon Blackshear. We're gonna go with him. He's got momentum his way. I haven't seen Alan Gailey really get tested. I haven't seen a lot of his fights. I'm not even gonna lie. It's kind of like there's so many fighters to keep up with. There's hundreds. So give me a little bit of a break. Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. This will be a good fight. The odds are pretty even. There's been a few prominent people going with John Castaneda. A lot of the consensus I'm seeing on Twitter, people are doubting Chris Gutierrez. They're counting on him to, based on his recent fights being close. I believe he's had a lot of decisions. His last 5 fights, 4 of them were decisions. He's 2-2 in those. Yeah, so Chris Gutierrez, he's a decision fighter, at least as of lately, but he's got really good leg kicks. I think he's a really technical striker. John Castaneda, if I remember correctly, he's got decent wrestling, but a little bit of a similar case. Yeah, look, he's never been submitted. He's 6-0 with submissions. He's got a decent ground game, if I remember correctly. I'm going to go with Chris Gutierrez to win a very close split decision this fight. My gut's telling me Chris Gutierrez. He's got a great smile. And that's something a lot of people, you won't see a lot of guys talking about some of the fighters and their smiles. We'll move on. Evan Elder versus Gage Young. We're almost through with the prelims. The next one's a real cookie. Evan Elder versus Gage Young. Evan Elder. Why is that one ringing a bell? Gage Young, this has got to be like his second fight. He's first fight in the UFC, and he's lost his Dana White Contender Series debut. Wow, he's only been finished once, and it was a submission. He's a little bit younger, plus 175 young underdog. Let me see Evan Elder. Why does Evan Elder sound so familiar? I remember the Sadikov fight. Man, I'm going to go with Evan Elder, just based off of UFC experience. Gage Young, the closest thing he had to the UFC was the Dana White Contender Series loss to who again? Salkeed. That's right. Gage Young's the guy that fought Salkeed in the Dana White Contender Series. Yeah, and Salkeed, he just had a quick round one knockout against Anshul Jubli, I believe, the Indian UFC fighter. That was a bad stoppage. I believe he was going to knock him out anyways. Maybe not in that sequence, but maybe right after in the first round. Salkeed, he's all right. He's got decent boxing. I'm going to go with Evan Elder on this one. Not going to spend any more time. Want to get this one wrapped up for you guys. Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick. Matt Schnell. Everybody knows Matt Schnell is chinny. He gets knocked out in a division where it's very hard to knock guys out. 125 pounds. He's 2-5 when it comes to knockouts. 9-3 with subs. He's just he's very chinny. And I almost said he's just too chinny to go with, but I'm going to go again. And he's a fucking favorite. I'm not about to pick a favorite. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with Matt Schnell just off the basis of Dustin Poirier announcing a retirement fight in Louisiana that happened to be a pay-per-view, and Matt Schnell is from Louisiana. So maybe there's a little bit of that DP energy. Dustin Poirier, get your minds out the gutter. That will simmer into Matt Schnell's veins tomorrow night. I hate to see guys go out like this, and Matt Schnell has just been on a roll down the hill. I mean, his last 5 fights, he's been finished 4 of those fights, and he got a sub against Suma Duraji, who just fought, I believe, like last week or the week before. He fought on 314. But Matt Schnell, look, I'm going to put my eggs in the basket on this one. I'm going to go with Matt Schnell to beat Jimmy Flick. I think Jimmy Flick is just all right. Matt Schnell, he fluctuates a lot, Obviously, right now, he's at the bottom of that fluctuation. We'll see. We'll see if the stock price comes back up. Let's get into the main card now. These are the fights that matter. These and a lot of great fights. Every one of these fights on the main card is a phenomenal fight, honestly. Great matchup. Starting with the first fight, Ikram Aliskerov versus Andre Muniz. This is a great fight. It's a great opportunity for both fighters. Ikram is coming off of a loss to Robert Whittaker, I believe, which he took on short notice, and you got to respect that. He was on quite the run before that loss, with his only other loss being the guy that beat Robert Whittaker most recently, Hamzat Chimaev. Wow, yeah. Ikram is really talented. He's really technical. He's good everywhere. I wouldn't say he's really chinny. Robert Whittaker is Robert Whittaker. Andre Muniz, he's pretty good, but I don't think he's on the level of Ikram Aliskerov. I think Ikram will probably finish Andre before the 3rd round. I'm going to say a 2nd round knockout for Ikram. I don't think this will go to decision. I think Ikram needs to get back at it. I think he's got that mentality. I think this guy is... He's fit to be in the top 5 in the foreseeable future. We gotta see it, and I think we're going to. I think Ikram's going to deliver. I'm going to go with him to get the 2nd round knockout over Andre Muniz. We'll move on to the second fight on the main card, Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. Man, Nicholas is that guy. 40 years old. He's never been finished. He's got 7 knockouts, 4 submissions. His last 5 fights, he's lost his most recent one, won the other 4, 3 via decision. He's got wins over good guys like Gabriel Bonfim. Nicholas is a really well-rounded welterweight. I don't know if he's ranked off the top of my head. I believe he's top 15 material, maybe towards the outside of top 15. Randy Brown, I think he's the perfect height, the perfect length for this division. He manages his distance really well. He's a good technical striker. He's got great footwork. I think Randy Brown is going to win a decision against Nicholas Dalby. You don't know, though, but 40, that 40 number, under middleweight, under light heavyweight, I really think it's a bigger factor. So I'm going to go with Randy Brown. Just think he's going to be a little bit more technical than Nicholas. And I don't think he'll get the finish, but I think he'll get the decision win. I think he'll do enough over 15 minutes. We'll move on to a middleweight fight, a great middleweight fight. Mikel Pereira versus Abbas Magomedov. Abbas, yeah, the guy that Sean Strickland knocked out, is an underdog. I mean, that was just a crazy fight. It always replays in my head randomly for some reason. Mikel Pereira, he's on a run lately, man. He just looked good. Yeah, he's lost his most recent fight in the 5th round to Anthony Hernandez, who's absolutely amazing. But before that, you can see he went on a little run for a few years since COVID, beating really reputable names. I mean, Andre Petrosky knocking him out. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, who just fought not last week. We had no fights last week, the week before. Santiago. He's fought a lot of guys. He's fought a lot of tough guys. I really want to go with Mikel Pereira on this fight. Abbas Magomedov, I think if that Strickland fight didn't happen, everything would be different. And God, how many situations do we have like this in the UFC? If Conor McGregor would have knocked out Khabib, everything would have been different. It happened. I think he has addressed his cardio issues. I think that's what it was, that fight. I mean, he just ran out of gas at the end of the 2nd round against Strickland. Strickland doesn't knock anybody out, and he got Abbas out, and that's a really bad look. I really want to go with Abbas, but my brain's telling me to go with Mikel Pereira. I'm going to go with the Brazilian. The Brazilians have been... I like Brazilians. I like Brazilians a lot, even, not the fake ones like Ian Gary, but Carlos Prates, Fighting Nerds. I like what the Brazilians are doing lately. I'm going to stick with the Brazilian for this one. I need to see a little bit more out of Abbas before I pick him. If he wins this fight, if he finishes Pereira, it would really say something. I would change my judgment of Abbas, but after getting finished by Sean Strickland, I mean, Sean looked amazing that fight. I'm sure he did just go and dust Izzy after that too, but I mean, that was just a really bad look. It'll be a little while before I go with you after that, but beating Pereira would be very impressive. I think Pereira will get it done. Next fight, Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. Another great fight. Man, both these guys have great chins, and they're great strikers. Giga's been around for a little while. How's he been doing lately? When was his last fight? It was a loss against Arnold Allen. That's right. That was a very good fight. That was a close fight. Those guys were throwing heat. He's never been knocked out. He's only been submitted once. I want to go with Giga. I play as him in UFC 5 sometimes. The dude, he could strike. David Onama, who did he fight recently? Romero, Pierce, Santos, Lane Ware. Yeah, I'm going to go with Giga. I'm going to go with Giga Chikadze. He's fought tougher guys. He's plus money. I want to go with some underdog picks. I'm going to go with Giga to get the knockout. He's going to knock David Onama out. Watch. He's going to knock David Onama out. We move on to the co-main event. Anthony Smith versus Zhang Mingyang. Everybody's talking about Zhang Mingyang only because they talk about Anthony Smith and then they say he's going to give up. He just doesn't. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm buying into that. I don't know if I'm buying into this Lionheart hate. I get it. He acts like he's on Dustin Poirier's level with the commentating, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I've heard this. I've heard these arguments. Anthony Smith, man, he's a really good fighter. He's fought for the belt. He's fought John Jones. He's fought a lot of really tough guys. He's beaten a prospect recently, a big upset via submission in Brazil against a Brazilian. What was his name? Why does it start with a B? Victor Petrino. Starts with a P. Yeah. I don't know. I want to go with Anthony Smith, man. My heart wants me. It's going to be his last fight. He's going to retire. I know he's going through a lot of shit. Apparently his friend or his brother or something died. There's a lot on Anthony Smith's plate. And a lot of people are not helping. By saying that he's just going to shit the bed. I'm going to go with Anthony Smith. I don't think this is going to be a great day for the Chinese fighters. I'm going to go with the big underdog, Anthony Smith, to get the submission win over Zhang Mingyang. Now, Zhang, he hasn't been in the UFC for too long. It's going to be his 3rd fight in the UFC, right? Both first-round knockout wins. One over Brenson Ribeiro. Very impressive. But And I'm digging. I get that I'm digging. And this is like a decade ago, right? But he's getting knocked out in a regional Chinese scene. KLF, Kunlun Fight 11, losing decisions and shit. I think that this guy has a grappling deficiency. I'm just going to say this guy has a grappling deficiency, and I think that if Anthony Smith can hang in there long enough, he's going to expose it. I'm going to go with Anthony Smith to get the submission win. It might even happen round 2. Round 2 or round 3 submission win for Anthony Smith on this fight. You guys are laughing at me now. And you're probably going to be laughing at me come tomorrow night. But Lionheart. I don't know. We'll move on to the main event. Wrap this up. Ian Gary versus Carlos Prates. This is a good fight. This is a great fight. Ian Gary, he's stupid. I don't know why. He said that a lot of American fans are getting behind. The American fans are behind the fight nerds right now, especially after what happened a couple weeks ago to Bryce Mitchell. And I saw Mauricio Ruffy spinning heel kick King Green in the Dome in Vegas a month ago and some change. These fighting nerds have the American fans and they have the Brazilian fans, Ian Gary. Ian Gary's talking about like more Brazil's behind him. He's got more fans. The guy is delusional. I don't know if he checks social media. I don't know if his wife's boyfriend allows him to check his phone. Carlos Prates he embodies us as fans. He's drinking at the fights with the fans before he gets in the cage and after he gets in the cage. He's smoking cigarettes outside with the fans. I like Carlos Prates a lot. I do think he's going to knock Ian Gary out. Ian Gary, he's just said so much bullshit. I'm not even basing my pick on this fight off of their technical abilities. And if I was, it would probably be the same. Carlos Prates getting a lot of criticism for drinking and smoking so many cigarettes in and out of fight camp all the time. Saying his conditioning's not going to hold up for 5 rounds. A lot of people saying Ian Gary's going to wrestle him. He's going to get tired after the second round. Maybe. But goddamn, I hope Carlos Prates puts this Irish cuck to sleep. I'm not a fan of Ian Gary. I don't think I will ever be a fan of Ian Gary. So I'm glad that this is being recorded. This is documented, so I can check back on this in a couple years. If Ian Gary is a champion in 2 divisions and has submitted Islam Makhachev after he said that he would give him a fight in the division and everybody needs to respect. He's such a shake weight. Ian Gary's a shake weight. I'm going to go with Carlos Prates to finish Ian Gary for, I don't know if you could tell off my tone for obvious reasons. Just don't like Ian Gary. I don't think he's an entertaining fighter. I think he's delusional. The fans, what he thinks the fans like is completely the opposite of what the fans actually like. I think he's got like a John Jones, Conor McGregor in one mindset. It's very strange. And that's just another reason why I want to see him lose. I want to see how he's going to react to being 15-2 after just being 15-0 and, talking all this shit about fucking Shavkat. And now after beating 2 ranked guys, he wants a title shot. This guy's delusional. Carlos Prates, give me the fighting nerds. Give me Carlos Prates knockout round 2. That's what we're going to say. This is episode 27 of The Fight Guy.